Hey everybody, this is Chad Rickner. I wanted to put out a little basic information about myself and why I'm choosing to make videos and put them on a YouTube channel. So I'm a coffee roaster. I own Coopville Coffee Roasters in Coopville, Washington, on the beautiful island of Whidbey. So I'm very fortunate to live where I live and do what I do. I have an amazing wife, Megan. I have a dog, Karma. I have some wonderful stepkids and a couple kids of my own. But this channel is more about my personal life and my mental health. That is kind of the big topic for what I'm doing with this channel. I'm not a I'm not like this content creator where I think there's a need for this sort of material to put on YouTube. Like, this isn't a calculated thing. Really, it's for me and my own mental health and well-being. But the really cool thing would be if I'm doing this channel and people watch the videos and they actually maybe figure something out about themselves, or they hear something I said that makes them go, oh, yeah, I've dealt with that, or, those sort of things. I really do hope that people can gain something from watching these videos. I'll always try to keep them fairly short. This one, I just wanted to do a brief introduction, let you know that the channel is about mental health and wellness. But really, it's just me, a camera, and me talking about stuff that I've dealt with or experienced or am working on, that sort of thing. So a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Oklahoma. I was born there. My family still lives there. But as a child, I grew up traveling and living overseas. My father was in the Department of Defense school system. So I grew up abroad until middle school. Then we moved back to Oklahoma. And I spent through college in Oklahoma. And the first chance I got, I took a job teaching at a little private school in Hong Kong and left and haven't been back. I go back to visit. That didn't sound right. But I haven't lived there since, I want to say 98, something like that. I'm 52, in case you didn't know. So that dates me a little bit. So throughout my life, I spent about 16 years overseas. And what I was doing that I wasn't aware of at the time was just kind of trying to avoid being an emotional human. From the time I was about 13, when I had my first drink of alcohol, I've been an alcoholic ever since. That was a real easy path for me to take. My parents were divorced. So through high school, I was a little bit on my own. Not, my father was there, but he had his own stuff and his own life. So throughout until 2019, I was in and out of active addiction. I went for almost 2 years without a drink, but I just kind of found other things. So I've struggled with addiction my entire life. It's always been a thing. But I've also been a very high functioning addict. And what that means is simply I wasn't the dude that would show up drunk to work, or just not show up for things or get in trouble with the law. I wasn't in trouble. So it made it a little easier to keep going for a long time. I finally, in 2019, I quit. I had one relapse, but since then I've been sober for quite a while now. So I don't really struggle with that anymore, but I was using it to self-medicate. I have a history of abuse in childhood. When I was 10, I was sexually abused by, I went to a little private Christian school. This was in Germany. So the guy that was the preacher was also the principal of the school, like real small. We had maybe 20 students or 25 students. It was awful. Anyway, that's another story. But he was sexually abusing me over that school year because I was always in trouble and always had to go see him, this principal. So that was pretty significant, although I pretty much suppressed the details of what happened. So I second guessed myself a lot when this abuse came up, and finally worked through it. Like, I'm okay talking about it. I'm not that close to it anymore, but it was a huge deal, and it set my life on a path that was much more challenging, I believe. So the abuse, the addiction. I've also been dysthymic pretty much my whole life. That simply means low-grade depression, with periods of like depressive mood disorder, like clinical depression. I take regular medication for it, but it doesn't crop up all the time, as long as I'm paying attention to my mental health and doing the things I need to do to stay healthy. But every day is a struggle. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to start this channel, to help me, and also hopefully by default to help some other people. So if you struggle with addiction, if you've experienced childhood trauma, abuse, if you struggle with mental health at all, I'm relatable. I've been through a lot of stuff and still seem to be making my way. Like, my life is great. I'm really happy, which can be frustrating because I still have those days of like depression, and my anxiety is always something that I'm trying to keep at bay, as I learn new strategies and tools to help me with that. So recently, just to kind of speed up a little bit here, recently, in October of 24, not that long ago, I decided to do a month-long treatment program, inpatient treatment program for complex PTSD, childhood trauma. Complex PTSD is very similar. It's PTSD, but it just has happened over a sustained period of time, a long time. So when you talk about sustained abuse in childhood, that kind of defines that. But without going into any of that, there's plenty of stuff to cover in other videos. But one of the things that I've found that has helped me with all of my struggles, whether it's mental health or addiction or relationship issues or making it through the day without losing my shit, like I'm really working hard every day. And some days I'm like, this is bullshit. I shouldn't have to work this hard just to be like happy as a normal person. But that's kind of the boat that I'm in. And if I want to stay healthy, there's just things I have to do. Yeah, it's not fair. It wasn't my fault that I was abused. I don't believe any of that, but it still changed the way I think, the way I operate, and that's something that I will be working on for the rest of my life. And that's okay. But there are days when I just have to take a day off. Like, I don't want to talk about emotions. I don't want to like look inside myself and try and figure shit out. It's just too much some days. And other days I'm reading, I'm working on journaling, and I have a workbook for PTSD work. So I'm always doing something in order to push myself further toward the goal of emotional stability and wellness. The problem with emotional health and wellness is that people hide it. There's probably someone that you could see right now, wherever you are, that is struggling with these exact same things. But we get dressed up and we put on a happy face and we go about our day and just kind of not address our true self. So we live with these masks on. I'm finally getting to the point where I can put some of those down for a while. But it's uncomfortable because you're vulnerable. This is the real me. If you think this video sucks, it's stupid, I'm a dumbass, whatever, like, that's okay. But I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position by doing this, and that's important. I'm in love with myself, and that's a very recent thing. But you will hear me say that throughout videos. If I hadn't discovered my true self and fallen in love with myself, nothing else matters. It has to start with me. So if I can do that, then hopefully the things and the people in my life will become better because of it. If I'm hiding and not showing people the real me, that's kind of the default mode these days. Like social media and stuff, you can make yourself look however you want, but can you sustain, and do you want to sustain putting up a front for someone? I'm fucked up in ways. I know that. It's not like oh, poor me. It's who I am. It's what I am. And I love myself. There are things that I want to adjust or work with or that sort of stuff, but I've gotten away from the idea that, I just want to get rid of addiction. Like, if I'm not drinking or using drugs, then I'll be okay. Not true, because I was sober before I went to treatment. Things like that where it's a lot. You can't just get rid of something and now everything's okay. It's who you are. Now, of course, I want to not drink and use drugs. That's a good thing. And I can do that, but that doesn't ensure that I will be happy, healthy, and free from suffering. Just because you're not doing something or you're doing something, it doesn't change your true self. It just either goes against that, or it's like part of the persona that you're putting out there for people. So I want to be the real Chad all the time, not just for a video, not just for someone I just met. I'll be nice and polite and appropriate, but I'm going to be my true self. Some days I don't feel like that. Some days I'm like, oh, this sucks. I'm an idiot. Why am I doing this? But that's just part of the process. I'm trying to get rid of some of those messages that were handed to me when I was a child. Anyway, so that's kind of an overview of me, why I'm doing this channel. There's so much more to it, and I'm sure I left out some really significant parts, but the idea is that if showing you my true self can help me establish that and work toward solidifying who I am and representing that truthfully every day with people, then I think I'll be in the right place, and my life will be fuller and healthier and happier. So yeah, that's my intention for this video. If you have questions, comments, feel free to reach out. You can put them in the comments section or just reach out to me. But thank you for watching all the way to the end. We're just hitting 15 minutes, and I'm going to try and keep most of my videos to about that. So if you're struggling with some of this stuff, if you're in a really bad place, then obviously please call someone, reach out for help. It shows strength, not weakness. So reach out for help. And then also, if you are struggling with some of these things that, you know, I bring up, then keep watching. Maybe I'll be able to throw out a little piece of advice or something that's worked in my life that will help you. So enjoy the rest of your day. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.